All of the students, teachers, and the principal of UA were shocked at this truth. They didn't want to believe it, but Ida had really died. To the teachers, they lost a good student who had amazing potential to become an astounding hero. But to the students, mostly Class 1A, they lost their friend. All of the students' internships were put on hold as the teachers and students of UA were holding a funeral for the young speedster. After the memorial, All Might was speaking to Gran Torino on the phone privately. "It's about time we go ahead with the plan, Yagi. Todoroki or Bakugo will be trained to wield one for all. Also, I'm sorry for what happened to Tenya," said the elder hero through the phone. "Yes sir, and thank you," said Yagi with a miserable tone. Gran Torino says that the hero killer needs to be stopped immediately. If Stain is connected to the League of Villains, there will be people who are willing to take up after him. To make it even worse, if it continues, the League could have even more followers behind it. Gran Torino was actually right. There were villains currently on their way to find this well-known organization. All Might tells Gran Torino that Nomu had multiple quirks and that makes him think that All for One is back. "I know, you're concerned. This is the same man that killed your master and gave you that big wound on your stomach. You're afraid that he's back and on the rise. Get someone to train and teach them how to wield one for all and everything about it immediately," said Gran Torino. Somewhere else in the city, a crook and a guy with a purple suit holding a pistol are talking in an underground bar. They were talking about how hard it was to sell weapons because of the laws. There have also been rumors that people, including those who work in support companies, have been selling weapons gadgets on the down low in the black market to uncertified heroes. "I miss the days before All Might," said the crook. "I was still running a small business. Remember when people were scared that villains had the power to completely take over the world? It was a really good time before All Might showed up. Maybe I should give up." The purple suit man said to the crook, "Don't be rash, have you seen this?" The purple suit man proceeds to show the crook his phone with a picture of Tenya's lifeless body in an alleyway with his blood dripping onto the floor. A message was written in blood on the wall next to his body saying, "I'm tired of this world. Before I continue, let me explain why I do this. This world has completely fucked up the meaning of what it means to be a hero. When I was a child, I enrolled in a private hero high school due to the fact that I was inspired by the symbol of peace himself. However, I felt like it wasn't teaching people the true understanding of what it meant to be a hero. Nobody had been listening to me, so I decided to take force into my own hands. I want to regain the old days version of heroes. The new versions of heroes today are complete frauds. True heroes shouldn't be getting paid to protect others. I hope one day society agrees and sides with me on this." The video was going viral throughout Japan. Even when people delete this video, it still gets re-uploaded. From villains with countless convictions to felons on the run, the video has not only awoken the evil within them but also told them to seek out the League of Villains. Time skip to later of the day. Everyone's internship goes as normal. Bakugo makes some kids scared. Ochako trains in self-defense against thugs with knives. Momo and Itsuka watched Uebami take pictures with paparazzi. And Kirishima and Tetsu were cleaning up a kid's playground. Kyoko was training on how to escort and save hostages. Deku and Todoroki were training in sparring matches against each other. Tsuyu's internship was going alright. Tsuyu aka Froppy was cleaning the Oki Mariner, the ship she was on, when she was approached by her supervisor who had a couple of sodas with her. They were talking about how hard it was to grow in the ranks of Tsuyu's chosen agency and the work that she had to do. "You know, it wasn't easy for me either," said the supervisor. "I thought I already knew what it meant to be a hero, but I was wrong. It was a lot of patrol and work. However, I learned a lot from this experience and what it truly means to be a hero." Tsuyu is wondering what her supervisor learned, but she'll have to figure that out for herself. "Hey, I thought the newbie was supposed to be working. A random voice said. The captain emerged from behind a wall. The captain looked like a seal humanoid, but he was actually pretty strong. You're supposed to be making sure she finished cleaning the deck, Sirius. Sirius aka Froppy's supervisor told the captain that she had already finished cleaning the deck. The captain apologized to both girls for the mix-up and smiled, which was pretty childish. Sirius told the captain that he was built like a warrior and that the smile wasn't making anyone happy, which he disagrees with her on. Tsuyu actually finds it cute though. Captain, said one of the fellow Navy sailors aboard the ship, there's a message from the Japan Coast Guard. The captain goes inside and is given a phone by the Navy sailor. While this happens, Sirius and Tsuyu start getting the ship ready for departure. Sailors, said the captain, we're making an emergency departure. Full speed ahead. The crew starts getting ready as they set sail. The captain shares the story with the crew. The Coast Guard gave him a tip that there were stowaways on a trade ship named Nison. Unfortunately, the stowaways weren't there when they checked out the ship and found that some of the ship's cargo was missing. The captain asks Froppy if she could figure out what probably happened. Froppy guessed that someone or something must have moved, stolen the cargo. The captain makes a cute face and says, that's correct. Everyone is annoyed by this except Froppy, who again finds it cute. Due to the information the captain received, he managed to pinpoint some possible locations where the robbers might have taken the cargo. A lot of people will be searching for this boat, so they're given a small area to check. Once they retrieve the cargo, they need to get it back to the Coast Guard. The team searches for the ship by radar while the captain uses his quirk called Spotted Seal, a quirk that gives him the power of a seal to find it. The captain's name is Selkie, by the way. The crew spends hours trying to find the ship even through nightfall, but still to no avail. The crew then gets a message from the Coast Guard that a ship that belonged to the stowaways has been spotted heading to the area they're supposed to be searching. Selkie managed to find out the location of the ship. The team decides to play it stealthily by turning off the lights so they can get close to them without getting noticed. Selkie orders his crew to block their path with the ship and board the ship while setting off a flare. The captain ordered Froppy to stay put even though she wanted to help. Sirius knows that Froppy wants to get in on the action, but they need to follow the captain's orders to be safe. After blocking the ship's course, Selkie shines the ship's lights on it. The captain's voice is heard on the loudspeaker saying, "We are on a mission from the Japan Coast Guard to inspect your ship." After searching the ship, they didn't find any of the stolen cargo. However, while searching they get fooled and trapped within the ship. Knowing that it would take a while to escape, Selkie tells Sirius, who's using her super hearing quirk, that the ship was a decoy and to not let the villains escape. The rest of the team goes to the shore since that's where the stowaways were probably heading. A little bit later, Sirius sees the stowaway ship hiding behind some rocks. They decide to play it safe by sneaking up on them and attacking their blind spot. There was a squid girl keeping guard though. Tsuyu uses her tongue to reach out and reel in the squid watchwoman. The team ties up the squid girl and leaves her on a rock so she can't alert her comrades. Tsuyu then uses her frog-like tongue to lower her team silently onto the ship. Sirius knows that there's one more person hiding in the main cabin. Out of nowhere, squid ink gets shot into the Navy sailor's eyes that came with both women. He's then quickly knocked out after being launched into the side of a rock. Sirius knocks Froppy out of the way but is captured by another octopus villain. Sirius tries to use her baton on the villain but it gets knocked out of her hand. The octopus villain takes one of the fake gill ears from Sirius because it was a radio in disguise. He threatens to kill Sirius if Tsuyu doesn't tell them to call off the search. Despite not wanting to risk Sirius's life, Tsuyu knows that she has to do the right thing no matter what. She pushes the button on the radio and says that they found the stolen cargo at the Double Rock. This pisses off the octopus villain as he is about to let loose and kill both of them. Tsuyu outmatches the villain in speed, and because of this she easily dodges his tentacle hand attacks. Tsuyu tries to save Sirius by using her tongue, but the villain grabs it and proceeds to whirl her around and slam her into a rock. Tsuyu is pinned down by the octopus villain who's about to end her, or in easy terms kill her. Whoosh! Something jumped out from the water and knocked the octopus villain away from Froppy. It was the squid villains that trapped Selkie in the decoy ship. They didn't attack the boss on purpose. They were launched at him. Something else jumped from outside the water. It was the captain, aka Selkie. Tsuyu is happy because he's probably strong enough to take down the villain with ease. "Sorry to keep you waiting," said the captain while giving Tsuyu a reassuring smile, "but I'm here and I'll keep you guys safe." Selkie turns to face the villain as squid ink is spattered into his eyes, blinding the captain. However, this didn't work out as the villain planned because the captain was using echolocation to pinpoint the villain's location. He dodges and blocks the villain's attacks. Sirius holds the octopus villain's leg as Selkie kicks the villain into the water, knocking him out. Tsuyu goes to check on Sirius as the captain thanks both girls while making a cute face. This was annoying to Sirius. Tsuyu thanked Sirius that she had the opportunity to go to this internship, and because of this mission, she learned the secret lesson. The next morning, the villains were apprehended by the police, and the stowaways, which were drugs, were returned. Selkie calls Froppy a great hero, despite not having a hero license, and says that she'll be amazing in the future. The next day, everyone returned to UA High School after their internships ended. Kirishima and Hantashiro are making fun of Kachan's hairstyle. Mina congratulated Kyoka and Tsuyu for fighting against real villains. The girls asked Ochako how her internship went, and she said it was a very interesting experience as she was emitting a glowing pink aura. Denki said that Ochako changed after her internship ended, but Mineta said that all women are really monsters after what he learned at his internship with Mountain Lady. Everyone is still sad about losing their friend, Tenya Ida. Deku goes next to the girls and holds their hands as he says, "I'm sorry my beautiful angels, but don't worry, I'll make sure to protect you ladies and my teammates no matter what. If you girls need me, call out my name." Deku touches the girls on their posteriors, which makes them blush. All of the female students and teachers except for Recovery Girl have feelings, including sexual ones, towards Deku. He had a lovable personality, an amazingly built body like Dio's from JoJo, and a powerful stand, which everyone thinks is a quirk. A little bit later, All Might decides to let the class have a race for rescue training. The race will go like this. The students will be split and placed in different areas of the field Gamma, a metal labyrinth densely packed with factories. They will then race towards a distress call created by All Might. Here's the thing, Deku can't use his time stop or his stand's help at all since All Might restricted him from doing so. Deku still easily blitzes the race with his superior speed and awareness. He wins first place easily with his vampire speed alone. All Might tells Izuku to secretly meet him after class. In the men's locker room, Deku is wondering what the symbol of peace wants from him. Everything goes as normal as the original story. Here's where it's different. Mineta has found a hole where the girls' locker room is and tells Deku about it. Deku warns Mineta that he'll deal with him if he tries to peep in on the girls since that's very disrespectful. Mineta doesn't take him seriously as he is about to peep on the girls. The next second, Deku freezes Mineta's body completely except for his head. "Listen here, you disrespectful piece of shit, you're lucky we're in a school, cause if we weren't, you better pray that your blood doesn't become mine. If I ever see you being a creep to any woman again, you're dead." Deku whispers in his ear 2 words, "Try me." Deku snaps his fingers and Todoroki uses his left side to melt the ice encasing Mineta. After school, Deku goes to see All Might in the teacher's lounge. "Come, have a seat," said Small Might. Deku sits down across from the number one hero. "I wanted to talk to you and thank you for helping me train Todoroki. He's stronger than he was before, but that's not why I mainly called you here. The teachers and I wanted you to help with some crimes since you're smarter, stronger, and faster than the other students. You take this hero training very seriously, and with your abilities including your time stop, you'll be able to do so much more." Deku grinned as he already knew he was on top of everything. "There's something else I need to talk to you about. There's a villain who calls himself All for One. He's quite deadly and a force not to be reckoned with. He has a quirk that allows him to steal quirks. He can transfer quirks to others or keep them for himself." Deku is surprised by this because he's worried that the villain could get his hands on the world. "Speaking of quirks," All Might continued, "let me tell you about my quirk One for All. One for All was created because of All for One. This happened when quirks were starting to show up for the first time and society had a hard time finding out how to deal with the overpowered citizens. People thought that these people were monsters and wanted to get rid of them by exiling, killing, etc. Society was falling apart around that time. All for One stole quirks from others and manipulated people all over the country. He caused chaos with very little remorse. Eventually, he became the leader of an entire group of villains that's now called the League of Villains. Villains were thugs, criminals, or those who were mistreated by society. He ruled over Japan. At that point, he made people trust him or submit to his will by changing their quirks. Sometimes the quirks were too strong to handle and then their body and minds would break because of it. They became like the Nomus we fought. Meanwhile, some quirks get stronger when passed on or combined to make even stronger quirks. Deku is puzzled because he never heard about this. "Why wasn't this mentioned in our textbooks then?" asked Deku. All Might responded by saying, "No one wanted to remember that part of history. It's like something that people want to forget. Also, All for One had a young brother who had a strong sense of justice. His brother didn't want to do his brother's dirty work until he forced him to. He transferred a quirk to him even though he secretly had one. Both quirks merged, which created One for All. Deku is interested in this, but he thinks that he's probably dead by now." Deku then asks why he is bringing up an old villain who should be dead at this point. Yagi aka All Might tells Deku that All for One might have a quirk that halts his body from aging. The younger brother passed the quirk on to future generations to eventually make it strong enough to take down All for One. It eventually got passed down to him, who then gave it to Todoroki. "We're going to need your help to take down All for One," said Yagi. "You can leave now." Deku teleports aka time stops out of the teacher's lounge as he goes home. The next day, Shota says to the class that summer is approaching, so they'll be training and camping in the woods for a while. This got everyone excited because they'll be having a sleepover. Momo thinks that they'll be living under different conditions than they have been living with. In order for them to go camping, they'll need to pass the final exam or they'll be in summer school. The next day, Mineta is watching a show that has Mountain Lady and Midnight as special guests. They're talking about how Midnight's sexiness changed the laws of Japan. Midnight explains that some heroes' clothes restrict the way their powers work. Mountain Lady thinks that she likes the attention of being way too sexy, no Drake about it. This pissed Midnight off as the ladies got into an argument about age. Mineta is watching the show with joy and pleasure. At school, Shota advises his students that they have an entire week left before the final exams. The final exams will be a practical exam and a couple of written exams. The class is ranked from 1st to 20th place on their midterm scores. Deku is 1st place, Momo is 3rd place, and Todoroki is 2nd place. Everyone else has their regular scores and ranks. Todoroki is pleased that he and Dio aka Deku achieved top spots on the midterm exams. Deku was given the nickname Dio by Todoroki while training him because of his godlike skills and power. He's basically destined for greatness. Everyone wants all three of them to help them study for the exams. Momo is happy because she can prepare for a study session at her house. She'll make sure that everyone is caught up on their lessons and become model students. Deku tells everyone to do their best since he expects them to be at camp with him. Bakugo is pissed that Deku was stronger, faster, and even smarter than him. He basically made the exams look like child's play. He still vows to himself that he'll somehow find a way to be stronger and better than Deku. However, since he's been humbled a couple of times by Deku, he has some respect for Deku. Deku and Todoroki are thinking of how the practical exam will probably work and be scored. Deku thinks that it'll be more hero training and displaying what they already know from studying in their classes. Todoroki looks at his arm, questioning if he's ready for the final exams. He then questions Deku about why he hasn't been using his secret ability during their training sessions. Deku replies to Todoroki's question saying that the teachers wanted him to limit his powers since his secret ability gives him an unfair advantage. The teachers gave both boys authorization to train after midnight, so Deku will be teaching Todoroki how to use his vampirism powers, which makes him smile a little. He knows that Deku has helped him get over his fears about using his fire powers due to his family trauma and pushed him to get way stronger. Ow! Someone bumped Deku's, which pissed off Todoroki. It was Nito, the guy with the copy quirk. Sorry about that, your head is so big, it's hard to miss. Todoroki is furious as he yells at the jerk saying, "Do that again, and your family will be missing you." Nito is surprised by Todoroki saying this. Todoroki then shoots a death stare at Nito, which makes him terrified. Nito stands his ground saying that Deku is going to get us into more trouble since he has amazing powers that the League of Villains will try to take. It'll be even worse if he decides to join the League himself. As the copy quirk student walks away from them, Todoroki's left side of his face gets set ablaze. He's pissed that Nito dissed Deku. "Stand down, Todoroki," said the broccoli boy. "Don't let others distract you from your goals. If we're against each other for the exams, you have my full permission to go all out against me as if I were a villain. Aim for your dreams no matter what happens. Go ahead with any plans you have. Speaking of plans, I'll need your help with something tonight. Everything goes as normal with everyone studying and for all the written exams. Everyone had an easier time taking the exams because of it. Moving on, the students and the teachers are at the practical center area in order to discuss the last exam. Principal Nezu tells the students that the last exam will be different from the ones from previous years. It'll be combat and teamwork training against actual people rather than just robots. The opponents they're up against are the teachers. Some of the students think this is unfair because they're going against veterans who have mastered their quirks. Shota tells the students that their opponents and their partners are chosen by their skills, grades, fighting style, etc. A few days ago, the teachers were discussing how they were going to make the final exam a little more interesting. They're thinking that fighting robotics all the time ain't gonna cut it if they have to fight against actual villains sooner or later. Cementos and Present Mike think putting teachers against the students might be a little unfair due to the experience and skills gap. However, they know that Deku's skills and abilities including his time stop will be impossible to beat. All Might decides to take down Midoriya and Bakugo because he's way stronger since his body is now back in its prime. However, since Deku is a vampire, he'll need blood to heal his injuries faster and boost his power. They decided that 2 machines containing 4 gallons of blood each would be hidden within the buildings of the fake city. The students get paired up with the same people as in canon. In order to win, They have to capture the teacher they're up against or escape. Back to the present, the practical exams go as normal with the difference of Todoroki using his vampirism powers since Shota can't erase them. He nearly ended up killing Shota when he accidentally split the clouds in the sky with his stingy laser eyes. It's a good thing he only hit his scarf. Shota then realized that Shoto had the same abilities that Deku had. Deku's fight was harder than he thought it was going to be. Let's go into detail of what happened. At the beginning of the fight, Deku knows that All Might will most likely go after him because of his abilities. He also knows that Bakugo won't listen to him no matter what he says. Hey, nerd, don't get in my. Before Bakugo could finish, Deku walked off. I need you to find and head towards the exit. I'll buy you enough time so we can pass. Deku disappears as instantaneous ice forms around Bakugo's legs, pinning him to the ground. Deku jumps across the rooftops scouting the area for All Might. Deku faintly hears something like, Detroit Smash. Deku quickly leaps into the air as he lands on the ground in front of All Might. That was a close call, said Deku, now let's start our real fight. Deku casts the world from his body and starts to throw punches like a professional boxer at All Might. All Might feels the punches sting as he's about to swing at the golden beast with a powerful blow. The world leaps over the right hook as he tries to punch the symbol of peace in midair. All Might lands a powerful blow on the beast's chest, and Deku feels the pain as well. The world and the symbol of peace engage in a barrage contest of strength and speed. The world was quickly outclassed by the prime hero All Might. Damn, said Deku, it looks like when I healed his wound, his power was boosted as well. I can't let him find Bakugo or escape my line of sight. Deku gets spooked as the symbol of peace vanishes from his line of vision in an instant. Deku smiles as he yells out, "Come forth, Za Warudo." Time is now frozen as the symbol of peace appears behind Deku. The world blocks the incoming attack All Might released, but it nearly shattered his and Deku's arm. Both are sent flying through a wall of a building. Deku sees that All Might has enough strength to move within his 15-second time stop. It's quite scary, said Deku, he can move within my time stop. It reminds me of the Nomu from the USJ attack for some reason. For now, I have to keep away from him and I can't let him out of my sight. Alright, All Might, time will move again. The time stop ends as Deku's arm regenerates and All Might looks at Deku. All Might, could you see me? Asked Deku. All Might chuckles a little at the question. Deku starts to get annoyed. I've asked you a question, said Deku furiously, answer me. All Might stops laughing as he looks at Deku and says to the green-haired scholar, scared Midoriya. Not at all, because I found a way to beat you here, the kid giggled as he reached into the pockets on his belt and pulled out shurikens. Regardless, even if you can move within my world, you'll never beat me, Za Warudo. Time freezes as the world turns gray. Deku smiles as he starts throwing a lot of shurikens at the immobilized veteran hero until 15 shurikens surround him. Time shall start again, declared Deku as the world went back into color. The shurikens started moving again towards the giant hero. All Might started moving back and forth trying to avoid the shurikens, but two of them struck his stomach and chest, making him fall to his knees. The students watching Deku's battle against All Might are amazed. They're surprised that Deku is struggling a little yet keeping up with All Might. To be honest, the power gap between Prime All Might and current All Might is 5 times way bigger. Deku is above All Might's canon level but is outclassed by Prime All Might when he's not powered up by blood. Todoroki is studying the way Deku moves and knows that he's using his time stop powers and his vampire techniques. He knows that Deku would be hard to beat, and because of that he's ready to see what he'll do as he fights against Japan's most legendary hero. Back to the fight in person, Deku laughs as he moves towards the injured hero. You thought you triumphed over me, said the chuckling kid, But you were sorely mistaken. Just as Deku is about to punch All Might with the world's arm, he disappears from his sight. Holy shit! Zawarudo stopped the. Before the overconfident kid could stop time, All Might reappears behind him and punches him in his back, sending him flying through a couple of buildings. Damn, that kid is strong and quite tactical. Wait, I haven't seen Bakugo for a while. Deku's lying on the floor while trying to recover. Deku is missing the entire left side of his body. Deku fears that All Might could have killed him if he wanted to. Deku is getting angry with himself until he starts picking up an ordinary scent, blood. Deku looks around and finds a machine labeled, blood machine. Deku stops time as he crawls over to the machine and drills a hole into the machine with his fist. He then vacuums the blood from inside the machine as the power of his vampire skills in the world increases. Time resumes as All Might realizes that he done fucked up cause blood makes Deku's powers even stronger. Thanks, All Might, I guess you are a fool for leading me here. The world heads towards All Might as he punches him with crazy light speed punches. He finishes the combo with an uppercut as he stops time. He proceeds to karate chop and pierce a gaping hole through his chest. He crushed his heart shortly afterward. Time resumes as everyone is scared and shocked that All Might was defeated and was about to be killed at the hands of one of his students. Do you yield? Deku questioned the soon-to-be-dead symbol of peace. I yield. All Might replied to the question. Deku pierces All Might's skin as he pumps blood through his body and restores his organs. WRRRRY! Screamed in excitement the broccoli boy as he leaned back and crossed his arms. Around sunset at UA, everyone is still spooked by the fact that All Might have admitted that he lost to a teenage student who almost killed him. They were wondering how he did it. The teachers themselves were scared shitless, they knew it would be Judgment Day for them if they were in combat with him. When that day comes, they'll need to be stronger in order to stop him. Bakugo's mouth dropped open at the fact that Deku himself took down the greatest hero of all Japan. All Might stands up as he bows to the teenager that he bested him. However, Deku was extremely lucky that he had some weights on, otherwise he probably would have needed more blood to increase his power. You were a worthy foe, Midoriya, said All Might. You won and completely annihilated me. However, keep note that I wasn't using my full power, just the amount of power that I could use with the weights. One day, I would like to fight you at your best. At best you made me use about 30% of my prime power. Deku smiles as he hugs All Might out of respect. Keep your head up and keep moving to get stronger, Mr. Izuku. I want to see what the world can really do. Deku smiled and said with pride, I'll be stronger and ready to take you on with my full extent. Around sunset, Tomaru was looking at a picture of Deku while feeling pissed. The same guy with the purple suit came into the bar saying, Shigaraki, your League of Villains was the top one word on the streets these days. Some people I know said you're cooking up something dangerous. However, Tomaru didn't care about anything he had to say and only asked if he had recruited any more villains recently. Saran showed that he had 2 villains with him. One was a crazy lunatic Caucasian blonde girl wearing a school uniform and the other was a tall male with black hair who had scars all over his body. Oh hell nah, said Tamura, these idiots ain't cutting it, take them back. Both of the villains showed interest in joining the villain league. The female's name was Himiko Toga and the male was Dabi, but that's not entirely his real name. Dabi says that he wants to help carry out Stain's will, which annoys Tamura. He's tired of everyone bringing up the hero killer. He, Toga, and Dabi were about to get into a deadly confrontation, but Kurogiri used his portal to interfere and stop the fight. You have to use them and the ideology Stain has given us to shine and increase our numbers. If you want to be realized, then you must do this, said Kurogiri to Tamura. Tamura gets angry and leaves the building shortly afterward. Sorry for that, our leader is going through a phase. He's been humbled twice recently, but he knows the circumstances he's in. I'm sure that he'll bring you two answers that bring you both satisfaction. The next day at UA, Denki, Mina, Rikido, Kirishima, and Hantashiro were scared at the fact they might have failed the practical test and would have to do summer school. Deku said that they should have been worried because there might be a last-minute twist, but they still doubt it. Hantashiro, aka the student with the tape ability, is unsure if he'll be able to go to the summer camp since the only reason his team won is because of Mineta since he got knocked out by midnight. Shota enters the class and tells everyone that they should already be in their seats. Unfortunately, there are a few of you that didn't pass the practical test. So when it comes to the summer camp, everyone will be going, said Shota proudly. This gave Mina, Kirishima, Denki, Rikido, and Siro some relief. The good news is that none of you failed the written exams. Siro, you failed as well. Allow me to explain, the teachers were supposed to make it so that you had a chance to win. If it was a real fight, y'all wouldn't stand a chance. Masahiro asked Mr. Aizawa why he didn't tell them that the teachers were holding back. That was so that you give us your all and get you on edge, said Aizawa. Shota looks at Deku with slightly excited eyes. I can't believe that not only did you hold your own against All Might, but you almost completely killed him. That power of yours is strong. Deku looks at Shota with a cocky and overconfident smile. Shota tells the people who failed will be going to the summer camp, but they'll be learning more lessons, each harder than the last. This made them lose all their hope again. Everyone is looking at the training camp study. The guide shows that they'll be training and staying there for a full week. Everyone starts planning to go shopping in order to prepare for the summer camp. After school, everyone is at the mall shopping for the gear they need, like duffel bags, shoes, clothes, etc. They eventually split up in order to look for things they need faster. Everyone looks and buys what they want in canon. Deku goes to buy a sword and a holster to carry on his back for it. Deku then meets back up with Uraraka and follows her as both of them go to a hidden room in the store and kiss each other. Uraraka was shocked at the fact that Deku just kissed her, but she can't say she didn't enjoy it. They made out for a good while. Deku then tells Uraraka, "Tell the girls I have special activities for us when we get to camp." Uraraka leaves the hidden room to go find her friends. Deku waits a minute before leaving the room. After leaving the room, Deku continued looking around until he heard someone say, "Oh, someone from UA, I want an autograph, you were the one who came in second place, right?" Deku senses someone behind him about to put their arm around him. "Don't touch me," said Deku, "I don't like others touching me for any reason." The random person then grabbed and choked Deku's throat a little. Deku was about to use his powers, but the person said if he tried anything, he'll kill him by disintegrating his neck. "Remember me, kid, remember how you cut my arm clean off?" Deku looks at the stranger's face and realizes that it's the same guy from the USJ attack, Tamura Shigaraki. Even though his face was covered back then, he remembers his blue hair and how he sliced his arm off. "Let's go, I want to talk to you about a few things. Don't even try to yell or scream for help." Deku was panicking in his mind until Zawarudo told him 4 words, "Cut off your head." This set off alarms in Deku's head. "Did you just told me to kill myself? Are you insane?" asked Deku with a startled voice. "You won't die, you're practically immortal as long as your brain survives. Trust me." Deku didn't have much he could do. So he decides to trust his stand on this one. Deku screamed as loud as he could as he sliced his own head off with a karate chop, surprising and getting the attention of everyone. Everyone panicked and tried to run away. Some people recorded the incident or called the cops. Everyone just saw that Tamura forced a kid to kill himself. Deku's separate head rolls and yells out, "Everyone get out of here immediately, go get the police." This took a lot of people's breath away as they were amazed and quite creeped out that the kid was just a head talking. This pissed off Tamura though as he decided he was going to kill him. If decapitation doesn't work, how about if he just crushes his skull? Tamura was about to curb stomp the head into pieces, but the world blocked his foot and punched the villain through one of the mall's walls. Todoroki arrives and sees Deku's decapitated head and his lifeless body. Deku yells at Todoroki to immediately chase after the villain. Deku starts using the world to reattach his head onto his body. He then starts chasing after Todoroki in order to help him find Tamura. They looked around the entire store, but Tamura got away by disappearing among the crowd that was evacuating the supermarket. The police arrived and questioned Deku about the incident. He was then taken to the Kiyoshi police station. Even the detective gathered information from Deku's incident. He's glad that Deku stood up for himself, but he could have put others at risk even if he did have a strategy. Tamura's desire to kill All Might hasn't changed at all. You need to be more careful, for everyone's safety. Try not to do that again and go with the flow, or it'll probably end up worse than what happened today. Thank you for the report, Midoriya. The detective and Deku left out the side alleyway door of the police station as Deku heard the words, "Young Midoriya." It was the voice of All Might. "I'm so glad you're okay. I'm sorry I wasn't there to protect you and the others." Deku said that it was fine. All Might, was there ever a point in time in your life where you couldn't save those you loved dearly? All Might responds to the question by saying, "Yes, I'm afraid so. Someone right now is probably screaming for my help somewhere in the world, but I would never know about it. I'm only human, I make mistakes, and sometimes things or people are far beyond my ability to help. The hardest thing about being a hero is that you can't always save everyone. That's all the reason I need to stand tall and smile so that the symbol of justice is always there." Deku starts thinking of his mother and the memories of both of them having fun throughout his childhood. "Mom, just hang on, I'll get the heart for you. I'll get the money. I promise." All Might has never failed to save someone after arriving at an emergency, said the detective. "Anyway, we got what we needed, so you're free to go." Deku nodded at both All Might and the detective as he jumped off the ground, leaving a small crater behind, and started flying home quickly. The detective tells All Might that this attack was probably a coincidence, but there still might be a chance that another UA student will be attacked. He then says that the school should be ready to take immediate action to drastic measures. "For the students' safety, you should consider leaving UA," said the detective. All Might is surprised at this request. He just started 3 months ago and now is being asked to leave since he's not cut out for it. The teacher and the detective proceeded to stare into the night sky with thoughts of All for One in their minds. "One more fight. Hope you're ready, Izuku." Deku was getting in some training before going to bed. He was doing some stretches and strength training. He did 300 push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, squats, lunges, burpees, and was still going. "A lot has happened throughout my entire life. I'll need to be prepared and get my team prepared as well. We'll be strong enough to counter any villain that comes our way. Summer is approaching, so we can't lack on our training. Stay focused, be prepared."